Hello, people. It's Amanda Walker, and I am coming at take two for Tuesday's movement activity. Went super wonky when I used Facebook, and so I'm coming back to my old friend StreamYard, and I'm here to teach you how to tap into your wise mind. Okay. Each Tuesday, I teach you a movement activity that connects the brain and the body. It connects the learning centers of the brain, and it helps you overall be a better parent, to be more calm, to be more grounded. And today I'm going to talk to you about when we're activated, when we're in a fight or flight sympathetic nervous system, that in that place, we're oftentimes just reacting. Thank you for the hearts. Just reacting to what's going on around us, whether it's with our kids, whether it's with our job, in our home, in our neighborhood, maybe we're in school, whatever it is. When we're in this activated state, most of the blood leaves our prefrontal cortex and goes to our arms and legs to help us fight or to flee. And so when you learn how to do movements, there's specific movements that can help calm the nervous system down, get us out of an activated state to a state of homeostasis, a more grounded, curious place where we can actually respond. That's where the wise mind exists. And it's inside of us. We just have to learn how to shift from this activated fight or flight to a more curious ability to think about what's going on and to respond, so that we respond from our own values. So we respond as the parent we want to be, as the colleague we want to be, as the human being that we deeply, deeply resonate with. Now, but when we're activated, we're not thinking clearly. We're looking in tunnel vision, we're hyper focusing, we're oftentimes a negative bias where we're looking at all the things that are going wrong. But today I'm going to teach you something you might have already tried before called tapping. And tapping has incredible evidence behind it for being successful, for helping individuals improve their well-being. And there's more than 100 studies on EFT tapping. So welcome to my live. This is my redo live before my coaching call soon. And I'm here to teach you this and to interact with you. So if you have any questions, please let me know. Tell me hi. Hi, Linda. I'm from Costa Rica. So good to have you, Linda. I'm excited to be teaching you this today. So this week, I'm teaching the part one of tapping into your wise mind. So we're just going to be doing the first part of the tapping. And then next week, I'll be teaching you the entire tapping sequence. It's a lot. It's simple. It's easy. But I just want to work with you here for a few minutes, get you started this week, have you practicing, and then next week, we're going to put it all together. Okay. So let me just look at my notes really quickly and share with you a little bit of the research behind EFT tapping. Okay. So again, EFT tapping helps us go from an activated central nervous system to one that is more calm, able to respond, feels more grounded, more curious, and what I call the wise mind. Okay, so we're creating a mind body connection through simple tapping movements. So let me tell you exactly what's happening. You're actually using your own fingertips on the side of your hands, or I was taught by my doctor about 22 years ago when I learned it to tap it like this. So you're tapping both of these acupressure points on the sides of your hands with both of your hands. Okay. Now, what happens is that when we tap on this acupressure point, it sends electrical chemical impulses or electrochemical impulses to the limbic part of our brain, which is our emotional part of brain, and the cortical regions of the brain that control stress and fear. So when we start tapping, it sends electrochemical impulses to that part of our brain that controls stress and fear, and it breaks the neural links that are causing the distressing emotions and unsettling bodily sensations. Okay. And a host of other things, overwhelm, frustration, racing thoughts, all of those things that our body does to try to find balance, to try to figure something out, because our brain has a negative bias in it. Because if we're trying to protect ourselves, if we're trying to survive, it's better that our brain assumes something bad's going to happen to protect us than just be like, whatever, and then we walk off a cliff, right? I say that all the time. It's like we're looking off this beautiful cliff and we just walk off because our central nervous system is just thinking, oh, nothing, it's no big deal, we'll just keep walking. Our brain has a natural bias to protection. Okay. And in fact, when we have racing thoughts, when we feel overwhelmed, when we feel stressed, it's actually our central nervous system saying, listen, something's really setting you off. It might not be safe right now. Let's get to a place of safety. Let's find a place of rest and restoration, right? So it's tapping us on the shoulder saying, okay, there's a lot going on here. We need to say no to some stuff, right? And so this tapping helps us, again, come from that activated state to a place that's more neutral. And if you've watched any of my other Tuesday lives, I teach other practices that help you go even to a deeper sympathetic level and sympathetic tone to help restore your nervous system and to wire in peace, to wire in gratitude, to wire in like peace and understanding and patience. And that happens over time. We can wire that into our nervous system as well. But we have to get out of this activated state first, and then we can start doing those deep breathing. We can do that fast breathing. We can do meditation. We can do different movements that help restore and rest and get us into that parasympathetic nervous system, or what we call the social engagement system, okay, where we feel safe to engage, to speak freely, to share our thoughts and our ideas, right? That's a place where we're creative. And it's a very powerful place. But sometimes it's really hard when we're in fight or flight to get all the way down to this place of creativity. If you've ever written or you've ever created something, like when you're in stress out mode and you're like, I'm terrible at this, you have to first get to a place of neutrality and balance. And then you can go, all right, from this place, how do I want to tap into that creativity? And I truly believe that all the wisdom and the inspiration that we need to be great parents, to be wonderful partners, to serve in our communities, to help our fellow man is within us. That guidance, that next right step, and that wisdom, that inspiration. But we actually have to calm and balance our nervous system so we can tap into that. Okay. Awesome. So great. So I'm going to share with you a quick piece of research that I thought was amazing. So they did one research project of 5,000 patients who were suffering with anxiety for numerous reasons, right? It could be circumstantial. It could have been lifelong anxiety, but these 5,000 patients were split into two different test groups. The first test group did talk therapy with or without meds. So some clients had meds, some didn't, okay? But they were using cognitive behavioral therapy, so talk therapy. And the other group was using tapping therapy, where it was doing the full EFT tapping program, okay? No meds at all, right? In the first group, where they were doing talk therapy with some meds, 63% of them found that there was improvement in their anxiety, in their mental health, okay? After 15 sessions, okay? So that's 15 weeks of sessions. 63% of those participants found improvement. Okay. Now with the tapping therapy, 90% of the participants found improvement when doing the tapping. And that was in only 3 weeks, right? So that was 1/5 of the time of doing tapping, and 90% of the participants were able to achieve a level of improvement. Okay. Now, what's interesting is over the long term, 51% of those who were doing talk therapy found complete relief from their symptoms. Okay. 51%. For those in the tapping therapy, 90% of the participants had complete relief from their anxiety after the whole course of time. Okay. And I don't know how long it was, but 90% had complete relief, right? So the research shows, it's evidence-based, that this tapping actually does have a huge impact on our nervous system, on our brain, and helping us to feel more balanced, more present, have less anxiety, less depression. It's used with those with PTSD, with other trauma backgrounds. It's a very powerful modality. Okay, so what you do, first off, is we do what's called figuring out what your most pressing issue is. So I want you to think right now, what is driving you bonkers today, or what has overwhelmed you today, or stressed you out, or maybe you have some health issues, or maybe you have a relationship challenge, or maybe you're struggling with your child who's tantruming all the time, or you have a teenager that is just not being respectful, right? Think about your most pressing problem. Okay, once you have that in your mind, I want you to put in the comments most pressing problem. So MPI. Once you figure that out, go ahead and put that in the comments. Okay, MPI. And then the second part is we're going to rate that, because I want this to be experiential. I want you to do some of this tapping, and I want you to notice as your stress level reduces. Okay. So on a scale of 1 to 10, in regards to how you're feeling or thinking about this most pressing problem, what would you rate it? 1 to 10. Okay. And I'll give you an example of mine today. I did this live already, and nothing went well. The volume didn't work. The sound wasn't working. When I went back to watch it, I couldn't even hear myself. And so it was kind of stressing me out. That's why I decided to do this one more time, and I'll just go in and delete that old video. But so at that point, it was like an 8 or a 9, because my charging cable wasn't working. The sound wasn't working. My camera didn't work. It was weird. I do lots of lives, and I normally do it with StreamYard, but I thought I'd give Facebook a chance. Right. So on a scale of 1 to 10, it was like 8 or 9. All right. So think about it with your kiddos or something else. Where do you rate on a scale of 1 to 10? And put that in the comments for me. If you're feeling brave, if you're not, just write it down. Okay. Now, the first part we're going to do is called the setup statement. And this is where you make a statement while you're tapping. Now, here's how this works. This experience. Most pressing problem, Sarah says, is not letting other people's moods affect my mood. Yeah. 7. Right. You get to choose that. That's your choice, whether you allow that or not. Now, it takes practice, because as parents, especially as mothers, we are attuned to care for our children when they cry, right? But when they're not babies anymore, and they need more independence and we need more independence, we have to learn how to keep a nice, healthy distance between other people's moods and our own. Yeah, it takes time. Okay. So that would be a great one to talk about or to tap on today. All right. So we're tapping on the side here. This is an acupressure point. They did a number of studies also where they had people tapping in weird spots on their body while they said the same things, and they did not get the same results. So the tapping points that I'll be teaching you this week and next week actually are backed by science, and there's a significant improvement in our mental health when we use these. Okay. So we're tapping on the side here. I like to do it with both. And this is how you set it up. This is the experiential part where we're tapping on our body. Okay. We also do something that's called exposure, where we actually speak and we vocalize the thing that's driving us nuts, or the thing that we're thinking, or the thing that we wish we hadn't done. So we're going to say it out loud, right? And then we're going to also vocalize our acceptance of ourselves. Okay, that's the cognitive part of it. It's the part that, like, even though blank happened, I deeply love and accept myself. And that's how the setup statement goes. And you say that 3 times, and then you go into the full tapping, which I will teach you next week. Okay, so here's how it goes is even though my Facebook was not working and it was super annoying, I deeply love and accept myself. Even though I couldn't figure out how to get my microphone to work, I deeply love and accept myself. Even though the last live didn't go very well, I deeply love and accept myself. right? If this is what about parenting, even though I yelled at my kids today, I deeply love and accept myself. Even though I woke up pretty grumpy today and was sort of intense with my kids, and I wished I would have said things differently and it kind of went sour, I deeply love and accept myself. Even though I don't know how to solve this problem and I feel like I've been struggling with it for a long time, I deeply love and accept myself. Okay, so you can tap one hand at a time. You can do both at the same time. Okay, and oftentimes you can even tap without saying anything if you don't know what to say, and you will feel some relief. Okay, if you want to say stuff out loud and it might not be appropriate for other people to hear, even though my husband's a total jerk and he seems to not care about anybody but himself, and that's what I think, I deeply love and accept myself. Right? So you would want to go into a private place and spend a little bit of time tapping, allowing yourself to vocalize the things that are upsetting you. Because oftentimes when we keep things hidden, when we keep it inside and we don't speak it, it gets bigger. It creates anxiety. We feel that we're not heard. It's harder for us to ask for what we need, right? So this is a great practice of speaking out loud your truth, okay? And oftentimes our truth doesn't need to be spoken to that person. Oftentimes, somebody else's actions, we interpret those actions one way, and it creates feelings inside of us. So if we can just speak those feelings as we're tapping, even though, so it starts with, even though blank, 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 I deeply love and accept myself. Even though I don't know exactly how to do this. I'm not sure if it works. I deeply love and accept myself. Even though this seems a little weird and I don't know about this thing, and I mean, maybe it would work, maybe it doesn't. I don't really know. I deeply love and accept myself for trying, right? So I'm going to put together a little PDF as a download next week. Hi, Mayrob. Good to see you. So when you join me next week for part 2, I will give you access to that PDF. It will have some full scripts that you can use and adjust for your circumstances, but just even a template so you know how to create those statements. And honestly, even if you don't know what to say and you just tap with the intention of relaxing your nervous system to get to that wise and curious place, it actually will happen. When you use words, it just multiplies its efficacy. Okay. Even though I had to do this video over twice, I deeply love and accept myself. Okay. That's today's Tuesday's movement activity. Thank you for joining me. Now, right before you go, I want you to think about, where are you at now? If you were to rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10, where are you feeling you're at now? So Sarah, if you're still here, you were at a 7. Did that decrease for you? And if you're not here still, what you want to do is you want to do this tapping and this speaking until it gets to be around a 1 or a 0. Okay. All right, everyone. I will see you next week. Thank you for joining me. Bye-bye.